Recording.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10:02 a.m. This is the Student Advisory Committee meeting on Friday, February 17th, 2021. Hopefully everyone is able to join and be here that's supposed to be here. My name is Angelo Simoni. I serve as the Executive Director for Student Relations for the System Office and also advisor to the SAC. And I have here with me Pam Helene, who's our Associate Director for Board Affairs at the System Office. Pam, before we get started, should we do a roll call to see? There are a couple of people here that I recognize names, but I haven't gotten formal notification that you're representing your college or university. So, yeah, I think the roll call might be helpful, Pam.
And we will, for the record, do a roll call at the beginning of every meeting, just to make sure that we have proper representation. And one of the new requirements that showed up in this year's budget implementer is that we need to properly identify speakers and what campus that they're representing, whether they're virtual or in person, as we move towards some kind of blended meeting. But for the record, all of our participants today are virtual, and I'll do a quick roll call. And when I call your name and or your campus, please unmute yourself and then remute yourself as you respond to the roll call, so we limit our feedback. Thank you very much. Kimberly Shropshire from Ms. Nuntuck.
Oh, Ms. Pam, this is Claudia Cute from As Nuntuck. I'm going to be representing As Nuntuck today because of unforeseen situations that happened to Kimberly. So I'm actually the alternate, but I'll be representing As Nuntuck today.
Super, I appreciate it, Claudia. It's nice to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
From Capital, Cynthia Zuniga, and please correct me if I mispronounce your name. Okay, absence is noted from Capital. Do we have a representative from Gateway? Absence is noted, thank you. Jocelyn Eagle from Housatonic.
Present.
Hey, thank you, well done. Okay, Elliot Ryan from Manchester.
Yes, I am here.
It's nice to see you. Julia Noriega from Middlesex. Absence is noted from Middlesex. Haley Moran from Naugatuck Valley.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you. Did Will Herons join you as an alternate, or is it just you today?
I'm not sure if I see him on here, but Karen Blake is here as well.
Okay.
Excuse me, but I am present.
Will
Okay.
is here.
Is that Will? Okay, super. And Karen Blake, your role?
I'm the Director of Student Activities at Naugatuck Valley.
Thank you. From Northwestern, is Ruby Darafaka here?
This is Andrew.
Absence is noted from Northwestern.
I don't know where Ruth is. This is Andrew. I'm the Student Activities Director. I apologize. She said she'd be here.
Who's speaking again? I'm sorry.
Andrew Wetmore. I'm the Student Activities Director at Northwestern.
Okay, thank you very much. From Norwalk, is Anjani Spencer here? Or is Jocelyn Lopez here as the alternate?
Jacelyn Lopez is here.
Jacelyn, thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And Camilla Correa from Quinnebog Valley.
Hi, Camilla was not able to make it. I'm Dana Normandy, the president of the Student Government Association at Quinnebog Valley. I'm representing today.
Thank you, Dana. I appreciate your attendance. From Three Rivers, Lorenzo Enderly.
I'm present and I'm representing our SAC rep for TRCC.
Who's speaking?
Lorenzo.
Oh, okay, super. Okay, that's who we were expecting you. Thank you. From Tunsis, Nelson Rivera.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry for being a little bit late.
No problem. You're there when we call roll. That's all that matters. Thank you. And that's our community colleges. Did anyone join from, let's see, from as Nantuck or from Gateway or from Manchester?
We,
or
from Ms.
from-
Nantuck, we have our alternate here and our
Oh,
student
Claudia's
activities
here.
director.
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah,
Never
and
mind.
Sherry, the
Thank you.
student activities director as well.
And Manchester is represented, Pam. Manchester's there, here.
Elliot Ryan. I'm sorry. Never mind that question. I can't read my own handwriting. Okay, from the university, Samantha St. John from Eastern.
I'm here. Thank you.
Super. From Southern, Brandon Levine.
Brandon Iovine, I'm here.
Iovine. Okay. Thank you, Brandon. Alex Grant from, did Alex join you as the alternate? Or is it yes to you, Brandon?
He hasn't joined me, but he still is our alternate.
Great. From Western, Patrick Moody.
Present.
Did Clinton Sosna join you?
He's not joining us today.
Okay, and is anyone from Charter Oak here with us? That concludes the roll. If we have any guests whose name I did not call, could you identify yourself as well, please?
Good morning, Miss Pam. This is Kelly from CCSU.
Kelly.
You can call me.
Kelly Parody. There's a
Thank you.
name I recognize. Thank you.
Yay. You didn't call me, ma'am.
Are you representing CCSU?
I am.
Kelly, I
Right.
haven't got notification that you are, so could you ask the VPSA to send that over?
Roger that. Sorry, I thought we were just rolling from last year. I apologize.
No. It has to be, every representative has to be reappointed every year or confirmed.
Roger that.
Very much. Anyone else that I missed that we need to record? Super.
We're okay.
Yeah, we are. We're in great shape. Great shape. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. You have a quorum. So we can accept,
morning.
adopt the agenda and move on.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda for today, please?
I motion to adopt the agenda for Friday, September 17th.
And who is speaking, please?
Sorry, Jocelyn Eagle, who's at Towner Community College.
Perfect. Thank you.
And a second?
I, Haley Moran, second that.
Thank you, Haley. All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? Let's see, any opposed? Any abstentions?
Carried.
Thank you. All right, sorry for the onerous roll call. Thank you, Pam, for doing a great job with that, but it's important for us to know who's present at the meeting. And it's great to see so many alternates here. You're welcome to join these meetings. You're encouraged to. But when we do take votes, and we'll talk about this a little bit more as these meetings progress forward, only the regular appointed member can vote for any action items unless the appointed representative is not present. So we can't have double voting for each college or university. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. But the more ears on this call, the better. This meeting is being recorded per state records retention guidelines. This will be posted to YouTube as a link. So if you are bored this weekend and you want to take a look and see how you look on YouTube, you can definitely look at the CSCU YouTube channel, and this link to the meeting will be posted there. It is one of the requirements that we record this meeting in order for people to view it afterwards, and this meeting is open to the public, meaning that people from the public that aren't necessarily affiliated with CSCU can join this meeting as we are a state open institution. So I just want to make sure everybody knew that as well. Just some housekeeping items, just make sure you're muted when you're not speaking so that we prohibit or lessen the amount of feedback that we're getting. If you have not downloaded the WebEx app on your phone, or your computer, I strongly suggest that you do that. Joining via the WebEx vehicle, the app, or the website is the best way to do this because it gives you access to all the functionality, the muting, the unmuting, your name, and being able to see people on video. Where possible, I'd love for people to be able to join via video if they're able to. It kind of helps with the flow of the meeting and the ability to see people's faces as we kind of get back to this new normal in COVID-19. But if you're unable to, that's fine as well. Last resort is really joining via phone because then your phone number shows up on the participant list and it's hard for Pam and I to know who exactly is speaking and the muting and unmuting becomes a challenge. So just some housekeeping items there. I'm not going to share the agenda at the moment because when I do that, I can't see if people raise their hand or if there's questions, but the agenda is always posted on the Board of Regents website by Pam and her team prior to the meeting, and the minutes will be posted there as well. With that being said, this is mostly an informational meeting. As I had mentioned previously, I serve as the advisor to the SAC in my system office role, but really the point of today's meeting is to talk about the SAC schedule, the Student Advisory Committee schedule. As you might know, we've moved back to the Friday schedule. Last year was the first year, and really since I can remember, that we moved the meeting to a different day and time other than Fridays at 10 a.m. When the board meets to midweek at an earlier time. So we are back to Fridays at 10 a.m. And I know that that was important to kind of advertise beforehand because I know that a lot of you have built your schedules around this meeting or have inserted this meeting into your schedules. And this was important for us to let you know as you got appointed or elected to the representative positions. So we're back to Fridays at 10. Pam, do you want to let them know the rest of the dates for at least this semester?
Sure. And for all of those of you who have access to or will they have, Angela, will they have access to the Teams folder? Okay.
It's hard to, no.
On the board website, on the ct.edu website, there is a printable board schedule, which will always include the most up-to-date information about change dates, rescheduled dates, and most importantly, the first column of that chart includes the Student Advisory Committee dates. The Board of Regents works on a calendar year, so we only have our 2021 calendar posted. The 2022 calendar is in development. So for the rest of this this calendar year, you have 2 more already planned meetings, and I believe Angela is going to talk about an additional meeting for elections. October 15th is the next, excuse me, is the next planned scheduled meeting. Do the printable calendar, Angelo, on the right side. There you go. And if you'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, on the first column on the left are your Student Advisory Committee meetings. October, I believe there's an error. That should be the 16th or the 15th, whatever that Friday is. October 15th. That should be October 15th. I hope that's a 5 and not a 6.
No, it's a 5.
And then December 10th is the final meeting of the year. Your bylaws indicate that the Student Advisory Committee meets whenever in the months whenever the board meets. The full board meets 8 times a year. Does not meet in November because of the Thanksgiving holiday, does not meet in January, and does not meet in July or August. But other than that, your bylaws indicate that you should have at least a monthly meeting. So that's where we are in terms of the remaining dates that are on the calendar for 2021.
Thank you. And here's a link to the YouTube channel for CSCU. This is where the meeting will get posted. And there's other meetings that have been posted here since then. So you're able to view those should you want to or need to. And then here's all the other meetings. It'll be, the location, the agenda, the minutes will also be posted there. So this is a great resource. I will also email out, myself or Pam or Pam will send out the agenda and any meeting information for the Student Advisory Committee to your college or university emails. So if you did not get an email from Pam or I recently within the past 24 hours from me and then the last week for Pam, that means that your name is not on our distribution list as an SAC rep or alternate, either A, because we don't have your information, or B, because your campus hasn't designated you. So if you're able to follow back up with your Dean of Students or Vice President for Student Affairs at the university to get that squared away, that would be very helpful. So there was that. And then as we go through the agenda, I wanted to talk a little bit about elections. We are on a year cycle where we will elect a chair who's from one of the state community colleges or Charter Oak. We're on that cycle of our student advisory committee rotation. So if you're a member, the designated representative from your community college or Charter Oak, you have the ability to run for the chair position. The vice chair position will be a member of the state university committee, and then the secretary is able to be from any of those constituent groups. So we have the chair, we have the vice chair, and then we have the secretary. And Pam had alluded to us holding a meeting, really elections, which will be held on October 1st, virtually via WebEx, this platform at 10 a.m. So if you are interested in running for the chair position, if you're from community college or Charter Oak, or for the vice chair from the state university, or for the secretary from any of those groups, you would need to send me your nomination or your intent to run by, let me give you the date right now. The meeting is Friday, October 1st. So I would need it by Monday, September 27th by the close of business, which is 5 p.m. So you would need to send me an email with what group you're running from, community college or state university, and if you're running for chair, vice chair, or secretary. And then we will hold elections at the October 1st meeting virtually. And what you'll be expected to do is give an overview about why you think you should be selected or nominated as the chair, the vice chair, or the secretary. Give a small speech to this group. We'll hold confidential, voting, and then those folks will be appointed to those roles upon the conclusion of that meeting. Now, that's the easy part. The heavy lifting is the chair and the vice chair position. These are unpaid positions, and there is a good amount of work that's required behind the scenes in addition to running the SAC meetings and kind of coordinating the agendas. And I think that's important for us to kind of talk about here. In terms of the chair role, I wanted to bring up some of the requirements so that we had that. Here we go. And I will send this out via email to make things easier, but I wanted to not send this out via cold calling. I wanted to have a conversation about this first. And we can go back and share. All right. So if we scroll down to where the chairperson role is, I have Pam's lovely face at the top, taking up the entire screen to move you. I need a bigger computer monitor. Okay, so the chairperson convenes the regularly scheduled SAC meetings, may convene special meetings, and preside over meetings in accordance with Robert's Rule of Order. And if you're unfamiliar with that, we have books and references on how the Robert's Rule of Order work. In the absence of the chairperson, the vice chair shall preside over the meetings, and the chair also serves as an ex officio member of all subcommittees of the SAC. But in addition to that, the chair also has a voting role. They serve as a voting member on the Board of Regents. So in addition to the subcommittees and the Student Advisory Committee meetings, they also need to be able to attend the Board of Regents meetings, which Pam can, on that same list where she showed all the SAC meetings, the board meetings are listed there as well. Pam, they're generally on Thursdays?
Yes, generally speaking, they are on the third Thursday of every month, well, the 8 months that I talked about, and meet for approximately 2 hours, beginning at 10 o'clock on that Thursday morning. So those dates are the SAC column was the first on the left. The full board meeting schedule is the last column on the right for those upcoming dates, but this is a voting member of the board. Do you want me to speak real briefly about the other responsibilities for the chair and the vice chair as it relates to the board?
Yeah, that would be helpful. And I just want to note quickly that if you plan on running either as the chair or the vice chair, attendance at the Board of Regents meetings really is required. So please make sure that those align with your schedules. Right now, Pam, we're doing them virtually, but there is an intention to go to a hybrid model depending on how the health landscape changes. But we want to make sure that, you know, these two roles, the chair and the vice chair, are voting members on the Board of Regents and really are the student voice for all 17 CSU institutions across our state. So it's really important that we have student representation there. Pam, go ahead.
In addition, so it's both the chair and the vice chair are voting members. So both of the top two officers of the Student Advisory Committee sit on the full board and are voting members. So discussions about budget and finance and salaries and academic programs and all of the important issues that come before the board as it relates to students, policies, procedures, those kinds of things, you would be able to vote on. In addition to that requirement, there is a monthly requirement that each of the voting members on the board attend or become members of one of the committees. Historically, the chairperson and the vice chairperson of the SAC have either sat on the Academic and Student Affairs Committee and or the Finance Committee. So those are the two committees where most of the student-related issues come to play. And based on your interest or your preference in terms of whether you're an accounting major or political science, whatever your major happens to be and wherever your interest is, wherever your interest lies, you would be assigned to either the Academic and Student Affairs Committee or the Finance Committee. Recently, we've had our chair or chairperson prefer to sit in on the Audit Committee because that is where their work happened to, you know, coincide with the work of the board. So in addition to your responsibilities for the SAC in terms of chairing the meeting and the subcommittees, any work groups that happen to come up for the Student Advisory Committee, you need to be able to attend the full board meetings on those Thursdays, as well as attend and prepare for. It's not just attendance. You need to be well versed in the packet and the information that's being voted on at those meetings to attend a committee meeting once a month as well. Angela?
Thank you.
Are there any questions on that? We've been talking for a bit. You want to, if anyone has a question, we could recognize you if you raise your hand, or it's pretty quiet. You guys can unmute and shout it out if you'd prefer.
Hi, I was just able to join. I had some trouble logging in.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, but my name's Julia. I'm from Middlesex Community College.
Okay.
So I just wanted to like say hi to everyone and also ask, you just mentioned those Thursday meetings. What time would they be?
They begin at 10 o'clock.
Okay, awesome. And is that like once a month, you said, right?
Yes, they meet 8 times a year. And the meetings begin at 10 o'clock promptly, and they are usually about 2 hours in length.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Committee meetings are also in the same month that the board meetings meet. The Academic and Student Advisory Committee is a much longer meeting that runs 2.5 to 3 hours, just simply because of the number of program changes and modifications that come across our desks that need to be approved by the board. The Finance Committee meeting runs from anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what's being dealt with by the Finance Committee. So that's a good chunk of time. And those dates are also posted. The Academic and Student Affairs Committee meets at 9:30 on Fridays. And the Finance Committee meets on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock.
Okay,
So-
awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Any other Lorenzo, does the chair or vice chair need to initially be a voting member of the SAC or a student government officer at our respective college? Can they just be a member of our student body? Angela, that was yours.
Yeah, that's a great question. So our community colleges and state universities, their local SGA constitutions, the student government associations, dictate how you elect or recruit or assign students at your respective institutions to the student advisory committee. So it's not the alternate that can run for these positions. It's the designated regular representative, however your local SGA appoints you. Eastern might appoint someone, Central might hold elections for this position. It's all delineated and spelled out in your local SGA. So I would refer back to your director of student activities or your student affairs person that can kind of assist with that. But it has to be the officially appointed member to the SAC to be able to run. That's why if you plan on running, it's important that I have your official notification from your institution that you're the designated rep for the SAC prior to any elections taking place. Otherwise, you won't be eligible to run. But great question. Thank you.
Lorenzo, did that answer that? Thank you. Any other questions so far?
Hi, Miss Pam. This is Kelly from CCSU. I know previously we were also on the committee with the one college. I believe we were supposed to be the vice chair of that. Is that still a thing?
I don't believe that was a direct board responsibility.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that was something that was extraneous. That was an optional opportunity. I really want to make sure that whoever gets elected to these positions, first of all, this is a huge lift in terms of your first role is to be a full-time student and do well academically, and really to focus on your studies. And really the outline that Pam and I gave with regard to the subcommittees and the Board of Regents meetings will be the core responsibilities. Anything outside of that, whether it's sitting on a subcommittee for the consolidation or anything like that, would be optional and not one of the requirements of these chair or vice chairperson, because we want to be respectful of everybody's time. And the last thing that we would want to happen is for this to interfere with your academic studies. So the board meetings, the SAC meetings, and any relevant subcommittees are the core requirements of the chair and vice chair role.
There will be lots of different opportunities as the academic year moves forward for the SAC to become involved in other areas or other issues that come up across CSCU. But in terms of required board responsibilities, what Angelo just spelled out and what I provided are the requirements. Lots of other opportunities, but these are the requirements. And I'll put my mom hat on for just a moment. You need to be good students first.
Right. And actually, just to build off of that, you do need to be matriculated and you need to be in good standing. So that's good standing academically, and that's good standing with the university and the college. So we want to make sure that your academic studies come first and foremost. So you want to take a look at, your extracurricular activities, your outside working expectations, or maybe your outside job, and then your class load. Are you registered for 12 credits, 15 credits, 18 credits? You want to kind of look at the entire picture as you think about taking on this role, because it is an appointment for the entire academic year. I've been around this block a few times, and I've gotten to work with SAC leadership on a variety of capacities for an extended period of time. And sometimes the amount of meetings and work can get overwhelming, especially depending on what your major is and where you're at in your academic studies. Are you senior? Are you junior? Are you doing internships, externships? Are you applying to grad school? So really just keep that in mind as you move forward and decide to run. I just want to give full disclosure so that there's not any surprises, a week from now, a month from now, or as the semester progresses. The good news is there's a lot of positives to this as well. You get to work closely with Pam and I, which I think is great. But second to that, you're also exposed to system office leadership. leadership at the community colleges and state universities, obviously to our Board of Regents, Chair Matt Fleury, who is the Executive Director, CEO of the Connecticut Science Center, is very student focused and enjoys meeting with our students. We've also had students that have served in chair and vice chair capacities go on to become members of the Board of Regents. And one of those members will meet with this group once we have elections conducted. And I know her name is Holly, and she's excited to meet with all of you. So there are additional opportunities to get exposure. This is a great resume line item. We're happy to provide references and then recommendation letters for those chair and vice chair and secretaries. And you also get to work closely with our new president of the system, President Chang, who I know is very excited to meet all of you and to work closely with our students across the system. He's embarking on a listening tour across the state to CSU institutions to talk with students, faculty, and staff as this semester progresses to learn about what the issues are and some of the concerns and some of the great things that we're doing across the campuses, especially as we come back from the pandemic and into this new normal. So there is a lot of ability for movement and upward mobility and to be exposed to our system and different moving parts and different constituents. As you know, we're moving towards the one college. We're about 17 months away from Connecticut State Community College coming to fruition, the merger. So that obviously is a topic that you'll hear about and continue to hear about if you haven't already. But there's issues historically that this SAC has worked on and dealt with, and really you're an advisory arm to the Board of Regents. If you think about it, you're representing each one of your constituent universities or colleges. So you are the voice of your student population that comes to the Student Advisory Committee to give the perspective of Norwalk Community College, of Western Connecticut State University, et cetera. And really, this is a discussion, these SAC meetings, about the issues, the trends, the good things, the maybe not so good things that are happening on the campuses where we might be able to take action on a unified front to make changes for the better and to reevaluate things as needed. Some ideas for engagement for this semester, this academic year, are mental health, advising and counseling, coming back from the COVID-19 pandemic and what that looks like on our campuses, public safety and security. Things like that are a couple of ideas that the SAC could work on as we kind of formulate this group and elect leadership and bring about some recommendations for review and or change. So I'll stop talking now. Is there any other questions, or was this a good overview?
We did. Jocelyn asked about if, in addition to record-keeping responsibilities, does the secretary have any other duties?
I don't. I'm looking. My secretary shall keep accurate minutes of all regular and special meetings and records regarding proceedings of the SAC. They do attendance, roll call, and they must be posted with compliance with the FOI Act. Other than that, no, they're not a voting member on the Board of Regents, but the secretary role is extremely important to be able to document these meetings in a written format. So,
and I've seen good secretaries of this committee chase for follow-up, that if he or she documents a meeting and there's a date or a deadline in those minutes, that the secretary notifies the chair and the vice chair that we've got, they set a deadline's coming up, time to give them a ping and push them along to make sure that deadlines are met. So it's a keeper of the record. And if anyone has any specific questions about secretaries and Robert's Rules of Order and taking roll and votes and those kinds of things, I can certainly answer those questions for you as well.
Definitely an enormously important role, and we want to make sure that we have people running for it or volunteering to do it. We did not have a secretary last year as a regular designee, and it was challenging to be able to run meetings and take minutes. So if you are interested, that would be awesome, and we would greatly appreciate it.
It is certainly not an add-on role, and having the recording there, if you have a difficult time taking minutes and actually listening to and participating in a meeting, having the recording available to you after the fact to assist you in how the meeting flowed and taking minutes is a great resource to have. Just as a piggyback on what Angelo said in terms of issues, there could be a time that the board asks for this body to go back to their respective institution and ask for the feedback on a particular issue that the board is dealing with an issue, and they need student input, and they need you to act in an advisory capacity to the board. So we might have Holly Howery, who is a board member, used to be chair of this group, is now a full board member, come and say, the board needs your help with something. And you can go back to your SGA or other organizations and actually begin the process of gathering data and input, whether it's quantitative or qualitative data, and provide that back to the board for use in their decision-making process. So the voice, we really want to make sure that the voice of the students is heard and carried forward directly to the board. So it's a great opportunity. Angelo?
Any other questions? I mean, that was pretty much the bulk of our agenda today. What I will do is when Pam sends this over to YouTube to be posted, I'll have her send me the link and I'll share it with all of you in case you want to share this meeting and some of the information contained in it. If you're a regular member or appointee for the SAC wasn't able to attend, you can share it with them and they can listen in to see if they would be interested in running. But again, our intention is really to have this meeting as an informational meeting and then hold elections on Friday, October 1st at 10 a.m. virtually, and then nominations or self-elections and reasons why you should be considered are due to me by close of business 5 p.m. on Monday, September 27th. And we will proceed from there. And again, for the chair, it needs to be someone from Charter Oak or Connecticut, or for the community colleges. And for the vice chair, it's state universities, and the secretary, it's any member of the committee that can be elected or appointed. And again, please remember good academic standing and just understand that there is a time requirement associated with this voluntary role and voluntary position.
I don't want anybody blowing off a Thursday morning class once a month to attend a board meeting. That would not be.
And I will say though, definitely don't want you blowing anything off, but we have had students previously that have worked with their professors if they did have a Thursday class, and since this is a system opportunity and this is a great prestige to be able to be part of the board and serve it, representing all your student populations across our system, there are faculty that are willing to work with students to accommodate them so that they could attend the board meetings. It's not a requirement of the faculty. I'm just saying that, it's a possibility that a faculty member might be agreeable and willing to assist you. So just because you have a Thursday class doesn't necessarily negate the participation in the board. You might want to check with them first before you decide to run or not.
And if you have any questions as you stew about whether you want to run for any of the positions, I'm here to answer questions about anything related to the board, to its relationship to the SAC, or any work that could be coming down the pike that you have questions about.
All right, that's all that we have. I will send out an email with the link to the meeting, with the SAC bylaws, and then with the information I just talked about in terms of the deadline and the nominations to our distribution list for the SAC. But if for some reason you're, go ahead.
I'm sorry, there's a question in the chat from Kelly, Kelly Parody from Central. Do we have the finalized SAC final report from last year? It was provided to the board at the June board meeting, and it is on the website in the link for the June, junk mail. Sorry about that. For the June minutes, I believe it's in the packet in the June minutes, and I believe it's, in the June agenda and supporting materials packet, as well as the minutes. I think I attached it in the minutes. But Angelo, you should have a copy of Audrey's final report, correct?
Yeah, and that meeting was recorded. So if you want to go back and listen to it on YouTube, you're able to do that as well. But yeah, that was solidified last year.
I just figured
I
it would be
have
good.
another, Jocelyn, you have your hand up?
Yes, hi. For Housatonic Community College, and I'm sure for some of us as well, I do not have a secondary representative. Once I do, does the Dean of Students report to you guys of the change, or does the primary representative report to you guys?
So the dean of students should send me the formal notification, and then I'll notify Pam in her office of the change or the addition or anything to do with the chair and whoever's recommended.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Good questions all. Anything else? If you have thoughts about anyone you would like to hear from administration, I believe Angelo is going to be reaching out and building a kind of like a speaker series for you. So if there's anything of interest, I know President Chang is at the top of that list. I believe he's going to attend your October meeting and welcome you all. Anything else? Alexander Grant, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question because I know you mentioned the hybrid component. Where would that in-person part take place?
Technically, it can occur anywhere. The new guidance that we received from the state allows us to continue with virtual meetings until April of 2022 formally. That suits this group best. I certainly don't want students traveling or trying to make travel arrangements to get to headquarters in CSCU office in Hartford to have a 1-hour meeting. It's not an efficient use of your time, and I'd rather have you working on papers or attending class or studying or whatever it happens to be. So my recommendation to Angelo is that this group continue to function virtually. The state guidelines require us, though, that if a member of the public wants to attend this meeting and has a difficult time with location, we need to provide them with a site that they can go to and watch the meeting happen virtually. So it could be, if we do end up having to have a physical location for the public, it can be at system office, in my office, in a conference room, wherever it happens to be. I want you students to remain where you are. Okay, I don't know.
Especially with regard to COVID. I mean, typically before COVID, these meetings were in person at the system office. We'll see how things go in terms of the spring where we're at with the COVID landscape. I mean, it would be good at some point to all meet in person and be able to interact. We used to be able to provide breakfast, and you can come to the system office and kind of see the setup. We also used to rotate to the different state universities and community colleges. Obviously, for convenience and COVID safety measures, it's best to keep these virtual, but there will be a possibility at some point that we should at least get together as the climate allows to kind of have some conversations in person, if that even permits this year. Hopefully that's the goal. Doesn't make much sense if we're all in masks at this point, but at some point, maybe next year or as the year progresses, hopefully we can at least meet in person once to kind of get some in-person FaceTime. But yes, for now we'll stay virtual and hybrid as required. But these meetings are generally, the SAC meetings, I would plan for 2 hours, just in case the agenda goes over, we have speakers come. Since these meetings are not as regular, I would hold Fridays, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as the Student Advisory Committee meeting time.
And if we do have an opportunity, if there's a work group that meets after that and your standing meeting runs short, there's an opportunity built into your schedules to have working group sessions or subcommittee work groups and things like that that would occur after the formal meeting. But there's lots of issues that are coming up for students that the board, I know, is interested in getting your feedback on. So we're anxious to start the work. take a look at, maybe from my standpoint as a board representative, perhaps looking at some future work and your recommendations for bylaw changes as we go to one college. I know that, Angelo, that's on your list, but I don't think that's a short-term, fall semester kind of project. Perhaps as we enter 2022, your recommendations would be appreciated in that. So there's lots of work to do. Lots of work to do. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for talking with us this morning. And I look forward to seeing you all, in air quotes, of course, virtually, on October 1st and hearing from you by the 27th if you intend to run.
And
Thanks,
once
everyone.
again, yeah, let's, if you have any questions, don't let them stew. Just ask away. We're here to help you and to get you through this process.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Angela. Okay.
Thank you, Pam. Have a good day.
Thank
Okay,
you. Have
I'm
a great
stopping the
weekend.
recording. Thank
Have a
you.
good day,
Thank you.
guys.
Have a
Have a
good
good
day.
day.
Thank you.
You.
Thank